What's good, YouTube? And welcome to reactions to niche techs doing their thing. This card actually popped off back in Necros format. The channel is that old, and when it comes down to it, it still has the same amount of printings as then two 2015 mega pack as well as new challengers. Now, Kashtira doesn't need to set a lot of back row, and the back row it has can either be reactive typically or able to flip face up, leaving this as the only face down card, able to make old man say no to anything. If this is the only set card in your spell and trap zone when a monster would be summoned or a spell card, trap card, or monster effect is activated, pay 3,000 life points, negate the summon or activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So what comes around goes around. The power cards for stopping things, and there not being a lot of it to go. Both versions are around $8 on their buyout mode at this point, so not the craziest thing in the world, but still very interesting to see. Next up, we have Utopia getting a little buyout for the ultimate rare. I have pointed this one out time and time again as a penny stonk of ultimate rares. Like, when you talk about $10 OTS ultis, that's about the bottom floor, $8 to $10 when it comes to these cards, and a number monster being there that is a show icon just didn't make sense to me. But a lot of people also call this one ugly. I don't feel the same. I think there's versions that look cool, but maybe that's just the EU foil talking. Now, $15 is the price versus where it was at 10, and this is mainly due to past formats and having more formats enter for people to get ready for YCS Vegas and bling out their deck a little. Now, if you want to do that on a budget for just $1 out of the 10s, we do have that quarter century secret rare for just $1, which is probably why the Astral's not jumping. Somebody in the Discord was like, when's the Astral gonna move? And I was like, oh, this card's done nothing but go down, 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 and has a lot of people who used to put money into it have a sour taste in their mouth. I even almost went for a graded copy of this right before its ultimate spike towards 800. When it was 500, I was like, nah, I'm staying away. I'm not playing the game. I'm not flipping cards. I'm staying away, being good. And I was good to do that. And yeah, it's just a card that just hasn't done well for itself. People already don't like having translations for their cards and having their opponent reading and taking time out of the duel most of the time. You also have a collector rare of this, extremely low for its pull rate out of King's Copium. But yeah, this has so much competition between already having the ultimate rare and now a quarter century secret rare. I don't blame people for not going for it, but it is probably one of the hardest versions to get of the card that looks nice. I remember when the dual terminal version of this got bought out and there was a only $50, $60 copy and they actually started selling for $30. There used to be so much thirst for a nice version of this card. Now you have so many options and so many different price points. It's awesome. Ubel is heckin' ridiculously expensive for what it does, and even more so when you consider it's on the glam of the actual Battles of Legend Chapter 1 that comes out this month in a couple of weeks. So save your money on Ubel if you're in the market for it. If you were considering it, at least see what rarity this version comes out in. And even then, I imagine it's just people wanting an access version, considering even Raw Yellow Mega Pack is bought out to this ridiculous point. The super rares, yes, Phantom Darkness is an amazing set. The secret rare out of Legendary Collection 2 looks amazing, but it's up there because people just want a copy of the card, and those are going to be coming in a interesting product. I do wonder how this will do. Let me know if you think Battles of Legend Chapter 1 flop, hot, or just kind of gonna do its thing. I think it's in between personally, not to play middle ground, but Battles of Legend has a huge successful name within everything, and these products historically are mostly flops, especially with Konami short printing, so depending on the cards and access. But Battles of Legend, very, very successful name, and some cards people really do want are in here so far, so we'll see how it actually ends out. Maybe it'll even be a positive. Maze of Millennia has just a little bit of movement I wanted to point out. We have a Bonfire collector rare under 200, but it's not top rated. Transaction Rollback is going up in price for its collector rare after having tried to bottom out, and quickly goes towards 120 here on the front page. And I also wanted to point out that the regular access version of this is relatively down. It's around $30 and under, readily available in that price range, but does go past that on the front page as well. Also, number 1 Infection Buzz King. I know number collectors do tend to go for highest rarity. It's an interesting one. It's slowly coming on down here. Really good card. Jet Synchron was also bouncing around very quickly. Discord was pointing out when it was getting like kind of going up in price, and now it's already coming back down a little bit in terms of a couple sellers here before it goes back up. Really volatile and does have its place in past formats as well. So Jet Synchron Collector Rare is a very interesting one that you might want to get sooner than later, depending. It's hard to tell where it's going to go, but it does have past format play and fun present format play that could end up being competitive as well, depending where cards go. Magispectors also have a lot going on. I don't know if that's the next tab. Good on me for having things in order. Magispector Tornado, the ultra rare, is getting bought out as it's one of the missed reprints, and you also have Cyclone actually reprinted in the set, but people still want the super rare more to where they're paying a lot more on it. That one is very interesting to me because easy access, but it's not hollow for my Magispectors. Chimera, the King of Phantom Beast Quarter Century Secret Rare, is starting to go back up. My Discord was saying it was too cheap. I don't know. Like, it is a really good card, though, and you're going to be playing this especially in different versions, branded Chimera. Like, you're going to have this in branded, right? But I feel like, I don't know, like, it going up all of a sudden, it feels a bit forced to me, if I'm honest. I feel like people are trying to push it right now, and it's not only for gameplay, but let me know if you feel differently. Quarter Century Secret Rare Infinite Impermanence is starting to go out of copies and really up in price versus where it was at, and pretty fast. I did tell you, boring advice, quote unquote, that the Quarter Century Secret Rare collection, the 25th anniversary, I would be getting these cards because when a second version of the set is in a line, you're going to get a lot more hype towards the first one, no matter where the second one goes. If it flops, the legacy is still in this first one for being awesome. And as it approaches, people are going to want to have both sealed and collect the first one, which is already more expensive. Ghost Bell is going up and down on quantities. Called by the Grave, down on quantities. These cards are not going to repopulate easily because a lot of people are going to want to hold on to them, on top of the fact that the sealed has already gone up a good amount. So if there's cards you want in here, I'm not pointing a specific direction, I would get them sooner than later using that TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. But going into a more specific discussion, a lot of people felt like this was the secondary market killer, and a lot of the secondary market continues to just rebound like crazy. This is the 1 month graph. Let's go to the 3 month graph on Imperm when people, oh man, that's killed, I'm out, I'm never touching modern cards again. Ultimate Imperm. Now, I've heard different takes on how to approach it. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know the future of the card market. Collectibles are speculative at best. And when it comes down to it, people love to tie their money into hobbies and make their hobbies, their passions, also make them money sometimes. So when it comes down to that, and also having nice version of the cards that you'd want to go up over time, yeah, seeing a lot of it fall out probably did hurt a lot of people's feelings to a degree, but it's come full rebound on certain cards. Cards that have modern implications and then past format implications and are actually playable. I've been screaming that from the rooftops for a long time, that get things that will be playable in past formats if you're tying your money into it, because I feel like those have the most potential, and Konami recognizing those and spreading the love on past formats, really good job by them. But also modern max rarity and modern versions that people love to have the best version of, feel good about themselves while they compete, they've been doing well for themselves too. It's modern made collectibles that aren't doing all that well. Look at Dark Magician out of Battles of Chaos. This is one that I thought could be made for success. It's a special art, harks back to the olden day, but there is also burnout on how many nice Dark Magicians and Blue Eye cards keep getting made. Like, people are actually not wanting to complete those collections over and over and over and add more and more expensive cards to them, like the Adidas Dark Magician and all the different Blue Eyes. And now there's a special Blue Eyes, multiple of them in the Kaiba case. Like, people don't want to continue to slave away money at that in large amounts, and this special 1 per 1.5 case version $60 is wild, and you can see people have tried to pump this multiple times as well. I thought it was set for success eventually. Maybe it still is eventually, but right now, continuous downward spiral. Archlord Christia, so many people thought this was a big brain by Konami, and here it is, evening out and continuing to go down around $64, $65, $66, and that's the market price. Like, Christia does have past format to play, and sometimes it's those modern-made ones that don't initially take off yet. Konami has proved they can make modern ones that take off. And finally, I wanted to land on Solemn Judgment. The ultimate rare, one of my favorite cards, continues to go down here versus time, pretty much just straight down, and is the state of the average, not actively super played card, even if it's a fan favorite. Now, this does find its way into certain past formats, of course, you know, but the collector rare here is starting to rebound just a little. People see a certain floor and they go, I've been waiting for that, I'm gonna buy it. Even if this was in Rarity Collection 2 and got a new collector rare, people go, I'm willing to risk at this price and go for it once it hits a certain floor. And I feel like a lot of cards end up having that floor and meeting it, and then the question is, where does it go from there? Where does the attention also come from there? Like, YouTuber, hello, but also from the attention of past formats that Konami's been giving a spotlight to, and actual results in those past formats. So I feel like with cards like this, and I actually wanted to go to the bottom of here and note, there is a comment in the Fire King structure deck, and immediately, I could have told you this blind if I knew this was even in here from the bottom of the set, immediately double in price versus where it was at. Like, Solemn Judgment is just such a loved card, but the top-end version's not doing all that hot for what they are. It's interesting where the market is because of Rarity Collection is where I'm tying this up and going. Rarity Collection created a new kind of apprehensiveness along with excitement that gives people a want for these high-end cards, but also can really come in like a wrecking ball, and how the market continues to adapt and adjust to that will speak volumes, but even I can't predict that. I think each blow will get softer a little bit depending, but certain cards will bottom out and never recover, and maybe the favorite version comes out of Rarity Collection. That's the thing. Rarity Collection is definitely its own beast, and you either adapt or get out of the way, and a lot of people did get out of the way, and that's fair. You do what you want with your money, but I think this is awesome for the game. I think it's awesome for collectibles, and I think it's awesome for fans who want favorite versions of their cards. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the conversations, even if you do disagree with me. And let me know what you think, like how the past formats have gone. Is that where you put it, or do you still go for First Ed, OG, LOB, which I haven't really mentioned? That's actually been downward overall as well at this point. I think it's like high-end and playable somewhere is kind of the future for now, depending on what formats Konami is actually recognizing.